What should you expect from your real estate agent? From a buyer's perspective, there's a lot of things that and I think this is common for most fields, right? Like there's the public perception of what you do for a living. And then when you dig in and you actually do it every day, then there's the reality of what you actually do for a living. So hopefully we can pull back the curtain, tell you a little bit about what a buyer's agent does for a buyer. The public tends to think that we open doors and find houses, and that is absolutely a part of our job, but I don't believe that that is the deep value of what you should be expecting from your buyer's agent. With the increase of different home search websites on the internet, a lot of our buyers are finding homes without our help, and they send those to us, which is awesome. That's fine. I mean, you know what you're looking for, and we wouldn't want to waste your time by saying, "Hey, let's go look at this house or that house," or and you're like, "Man, I saw this one online and I didn't like it." So we will be searching for homes for you. So number one, home searches. But the other thing that we can do is an added layer to that. So let's say, for instance, you are really wanting to get into a particular neighborhood. We have a ton of resources to make that happen. Now, we're not miracle workers, but because of the huge network that we have websites and forums and masterminds and Facebook pages that are exclusive to real estate agents that we can go on and say, hey, we've got a buyer that's looking for this and this and this and this and this neighborhood. We also can door knock in the neighborhood and say, hey, are you looking to sell your house? We have somebody who's interested. Any number of things. We also have the ability to a lot of times see a house in come on the market in real time. So if you have a search set up on Zillow, that's great. Please do that. But we can see the MLS, which hits immediately. So that if we have a search set up for you, we see that right away. So the home search, you should be expecting your real estate agent to dig a little bit deeper than just having a basic home search set up for you. They should be willing to really dive in and door knock, put out feelers, really, really in-depth search for homes. The other thing that you should expect from your buyer's agent, instead of just opening doors to get you into homes, is pointing out red flags. So when you are looking at a house, it is a lot of people think that, it's our job to make you fall in love with a house, and that's not really it. We want to point out the things that maybe you don't see on the first go round. So a crack or something that's not in alignment with what you've told us. For instance, if you've said, hey, I only want to buy a house that has white cabinets, sometimes you'll go see a house and you don't notice right off the bat that that's something that you had told us up front. And that's kind of a basic example. But a lot of times you just get caught up in the other details. Maybe this house has a gorgeous pool and you're like, oh my stars, I love this swimming pool. It's our job to come back and say, but remember, you told me that you wanted white cabinets, not because we're trying to talk you out of the house, but we don't want you to be living there 2 years and be like, man, I should have really just waited for this dream kitchen that I had in my mind. And it could be that you're like, I don't care about the white cabinets. I love the pool, right? And that's okay too. Some other things that a real estate agent is supposed to do for you is run in-depth research on the home that you ultimately pick. So when you find that home that you are like, this is my house, I want to make an offer on it, because you are emotionally involved in that process, we take a step back and look at the data and analytics. So maybe we say, okay, we love this home too. However, let's look at the numbers and make sure they make sense. And what I mean by that is you don't have as much access to some of the reports and data that we have. We can run those in-depth reports and say, you know what, a house just like this down the street sold 2 months ago for $30,000 less than this. So I don't want you to get into a situation where we're going to have appraisal issues and then you've spent all this money on inspections and appraisals and it doesn't appraise and the seller's not willing to negotiate. We need to be aware of that up front. We want to make sure that we find all the different scenarios before you start spending money on a house and getting emotionally attached to it. I mean, my stars, if you turn in your 30-day notice at your apartment and then you find out that the home doesn't appraise and the seller won't come down and you don't have the money to bridge that gap, and now you've turned in your notice at your apartment, Those are things that we should be looking for upfront for you so it doesn't catch you by surprise. Other things that buyer's agents are really supposed to be doing for you is providing good resources, reminding you what your rights are. So you need to inspect your property. And it is our job. In fact, we are going to tell you, please inspect your property. And if you choose not to, we're going to have you sign a disclaimer that says, I told you to, and you chose not to, because that is so important to us. When you purchase a property, it's yours with all of its defects. So we want to make sure that we find out everything we can possibly find out about a property prior to closing. Negotiating repairs. We are so good at helping you sort through that inspection. We're never going to tell you what to do or what not to do, but we're going to weigh in with all of that past experience. We have sold in our office, we've sold over 500 houses. Like, we know how to read an inspection report. We know what things on that inspection report could likely cause you problems down the road that may look like not a big deal right now, but let's avoid money pits in the future. We are your advocate. We do not want you to spend too much money on your house. We do not want you to miss anything on your inspection. And ultimately, when you get to the closing table, we want you to be so excited to get those keys and not have any trepidation or concerns. We make sure that your paperwork is done correctly, that you don't have any, anything that could come back on you after the sale of the property. A buyer is generally so excited and has some emotional ties to the property that they're buying. And as real estate agents, we get to come in with some clarity and some past experiences that can really, really help you to make the best decision, because it's a huge investment. If you are ready to start your home shopping experience, we have buyer's agents that are ready to sit down with you. We like to do a consultation up front where we go over a bird's eye view of the process, maybe give you some resources to get started, and then we'll set up a search and start finding your perfect house.